All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are absolutely running the gauntlet. We're going to master the AWS monitoring services that you have to know to ace that SAA-C03 exam.
So here's the game plan for today. First, we'll meet our challengers, the core services. Then, we'll dive into round one, which is all about performance and operations. After that, round two, covering auditing and compliance. We'll face the final boss in a lightning round, and then take our victory lap. Let's do this.
All right, first things first, before you jump into any challenge, you've got to know your tools, right? So let's get acquainted with the main players in the whole AWS monitoring arena.
Okay, look at this table. This is basically your cheat sheet, your foundation. If you can answer these 4 simple questions with the right service, you are well on your way. How's my app doing? That's CloudWatch. Who did what and when? That's CloudTrail. Every time. Is this thing configured right? You're looking at config. And where's the slowdown? Where's the bottleneck? That's X-ray.
And here it is, the little mantra that is going to save you so much time on the exam. Seriously, just repeat this in your head. CloudWatch watches, CloudTrail tracks, config checks, and X-ray examines. Got it? It really helps it all click into place.
All right, let's get into it. Round 1, performance and operations. This is all about answering the how and the what. How's everything running and what's going on under the hood?
So, here's a classic exam question. This one is a real favorite because it's designed to trip you up. A company wants to monitor memory on their EC2 instances and fire off an alarm at 80%. So how do you do it? Remember, by default, EC2 doesn't tell you anything about memory.
The answer, you have to install the CloudWatch agent on the EC2 instances. That's the key. There's no other way to get those OS-level metrics like memory and disk space.
And here's why this is so important to remember. EC2 by itself doesn't send memory or disk metrics. It just doesn't. You have to install the CloudWatch agent to grab them as custom metrics. Once they're in CloudWatch, well, then you can set up an alarm just like any other metric. So if you see EC2 memory on the exam, your brain should immediately go to CloudWatch agent.
Okay, next up, a super common operational problem. How can a solutions architect get into an EC2 instance for troubleshooting, but without opening up port 22 or messing around with SSH keys? We want to be secure here.
The answer is you use AWS Systems Manager Session Manager. This is the modern, secure way to do it.
So why does this work so well? Well, it gives you a secure shell right through your browser or the AWS CLI. You don't need to open any inbound ports, especially not port 22. You don't have to manage SSH keys anymore, which is amazing. And the best part? Access is controlled completely through IAM permissions, and you can even log the entire session to S3 or CloudWatch for auditing. For the exam, if you see a question about secure access without SSH keys, think Session Manager.
Okay, round 2, auditing and compliance. Now we're shifting gears a bit. This is all about answering the who and the why. Who did what? And why is our configuration the way it is?
All right, here's the scenario. The security team is in a panic. They need to figure out which IAM user terminated a critical EC2 instance last week. So which service should they use? Think back to our little saying. We're asking who did what?
Yup, it's gotta be AWS CloudTrail. CloudTrail is your detective. It's tracking every single API call. And here's the logic. CloudTrail is literally the audit log for your AWS account. It records everything, the user, the time, the IP address, you name it. So that Terminate Instances API call, it's going to be logged there with all the juicy details they need for the investigation. So, exam tip, auditing user actions equals CloudTrail.
Okay, next question. A company needs to make sure all of its S3 buckets have versioning turned on, and they want to get an automatic notification if someone creates a new bucket that isn't compliant. So how do they do that? Notice the question here. It's not who did it, it's is this resource configured correctly?
And the tool built for exactly this job is AWS Config. You'd use it with AWS Managed Rules. Here's the beautiful part. AWS Config is just constantly checking your resource configurations against the rules you set. It even has pre-built managed rules, like one specifically called S3 Bucket Versioning Enabled. And if something goes out of compliance, it can automatically shoot off a notification using SNS or EventBridge. This is the key difference, right? CloudTrail tells you who made the bucket. Config tells you if that bucket is set up correctly. You've made it. It's time for the final boss, the lightning round. This is all about rapid recall. I'm going to ask a quick question, you think of the answer, and I'll reveal it. You ready? Let's go!
First one, how long is the free event history stored in CloudTrail?
The answer is 90 days. If you need to keep records for longer than that, and you probably do, you've got to set up a trail to S3. Next up, what's the default retention period for CloudWatch logs? How long do they hang around if you don't touch anything? The answer is they never expire. This is a huge one, a super common cost trap. So in the real world, please remember to set a retention policy.
And that's it. You've completed the gauntlet. Awesome job. Let's take a quick victory lap and lock in those key takeaways.
Okay, these right here are your exam-winning facts. Seriously, burn these into your brain. First, EC2 memory, that always needs the CloudWatch agent. Auditing, who did what? The answer is always CloudTrail. Compliance, as in, is it configured correctly? That's AWS Config. For secure access, Session Manager is your best friend. No more open SSH ports. Need to create alarms from log files? Use metric filters. And finally, those default retentions. CloudTrail is 90 days, but CloudWatch logs, they never expire by default.
So we'll wrap up with this thought. You know the tools now, right? But passing the exam is just step one. The real question is, how will you build a truly observable, secure, and compliant cloud architecture? The magic really happens when you start combining these services. Imagine using CloudWatch alarms that are triggered by a weird CloudTrail event on a resource that AWS Config is constantly monitoring. That's when you're building really solid, real-world systems.